I'm just going to go over a few things quickly. It's not going to be a long video, but since there's a new talent rush added to the game, I decided to do a video to cover it. Some people might be confused what they should spend on, whether they should spend it in Sov Rush or Talent Rush, and I just want to point out a few things about that. And remember, questions are always welcome. So there is a gimmick I want to share, which I would advise you not to share with too many other people, because if you do share it with a lot of people, the developers might patch it out. Because it feels like it's kind of like a cheat. What you can do is, right now it's right before reset. Reset happens at midnight for me, and it's 11:40 right now. So what I've done is gone through and unequipped all my pets. And how you unequip a pet is, you go to a pet and you assign it your weakest advisor. Like, pick one that's your weakest and assign it to that guy. And then you go through and assign every single pet to that same guy, one at a time. This, all to that same advisor. And when you finish doing that, if you've done it correctly, your last pet will be equipped to that one advisor, and all the other pets will be unequipped. So that's how you unequip your pets, and while you're doing that, your Sov will be going down, because your pets will be unequipping. So after you've unequipped all your pets right before reset, and then a rush that has either a Sov milestone or a Sov rush starts after reset, you re-equip all your pets, and you should get the extra Sov credited towards the milestone or the rush, I believe. But again, don't share that trick with too many people, or it's probably going to get patched. Another thing I want to go over to explain how you split up your talent between Sov Rush and Talent Rush is to explain about how Sov is calculated. So there's a lot of things that go into Sov, but the main thing is the total stats of your advisors are what gives you more Sov. That's the main thing. So Hootlun, because she's got a lot of stars and is a good advisor, she gives me a lot of Sov for each bit of talent I put into her. So if I'm trying to win a Sov rush, it's good to give talent to Hootlun. On the other hand, a much weaker advisor, if you give them some talent, it's not going to do much for you. So one trick that you can use is, if you just unlocked a red, for example, and it's still level 1, you could give them a ton of talent in the talent rush, and you'd gain hardly any Sov at all for it, because giving a lot of talent to a level 1 red advisor is going to give you almost no Sov. And then once the Sov rush comes around, you can level them up, and then all that talent that you put into them will suddenly be giving you a huge amount of stats, and you'll gain a ton of Sov. So it doesn't really matter when you level it up or when you add the talent. The final amount of Sov that you gain in the end is going to be the same. But you can take advantage of how it's calculated to use all that talent during the talent rush, and then gain the Sov during the Sov rush by making sure that you're giving all of your talent to an advisor who's currently very low level and has very few stars, and then you add the levels and stars during the Sov rush to activate the Sov out of that talent. So as an example, I might give all of my talent to Ken during the talent rush, because he only has 3 stars right now. And then when we're in the Sov rush, I would be giving my talent to Hootlun, and I would be leveling up Ken to unlock the Sov out of the talent that I gave him. Hopefully that makes sense, but just think of it this way. There's strong talent and there's weak talent. Weak talent is like the random talent packs that just go to your weak advisors, and the talent, that's on anybody that you're not currently leveling up. Like, a lot of these guys have talent XP that I haven't used yet because I was just waiting for the talent rush. So that's all weak talent. Your strong talent is your talent that you can choose where it goes, like your pouches and stuff, and those go directly on your strongest guys. And generally, the strong talent you want to use more during the Sov rush, and the weak talent you want to use during the talent rush. Another thing to consider is the milestones. There's milestones for the talent pouches. These ones. There's milestones for them during the Sov rush. But there's no milestone for these, there's no milestone for these. So what I'm getting at is, if there's no milestone for it, it's probably better off used during the talent rush. If there's a milestone for it, you want to use at least some of it during the Sov rush. Hopefully that makes sense. Another thing I want to mention is that I've kind of changed my thinking on advisors a little since I was first playing, and I think that for all of the early game and most of the late game, like up until you have maybe 500 million Sov, it's probably best to focus on a fighter But I think once you get over maybe 1 billion SOV or so, I don't know exactly when the switchover happens, but since fighters give diminishing returns for strength, well, all advisors give diminishing returns for strength in Horde Battle. Like the first million or so gives a ton, the next million doesn't give as much. I don't think that fighters are actually the very best in the long run, because once you have more than enough elites, I think hunters start being pretty good because they can help you get way more resources to win the meat rush. But beyond that, the developers keep adding new games to allow you to burn resources that you couldn't burn before, like the soldier game for Egypt, and supposedly they're going to be adding a silver one too. So if they do have those mini games where you can, win those mini games plus win the rush, you get the rewards from the Egypt mini game if you win that, and then you get the rewards from the soldier rush if you win that. If they keep moving things in that direction, then eventually, having really high villages and having really good income is going to help you not only win a mini game but also win the rush that goes with it for both silver and soldiers. And the best way to have a ton of resources is to have a ton of meat to pour into your villages, and hunters are the best at giving you that. And on top of that, hunters give you the second most strength after fighters. So I think the game is moving in a direction where I think in the very late game, hunters are actually going to be better than fighters. So that being said, I think actually Tomoe is pretty underrated. I'm referring to the red advisor that you get at a Horde battle, because not only is she a red that you can unlock free, and she's a hunter who will theoretically, in the super long run, possibly be better than a fighter. Her collection is also really easy to star up, and you can get a lot of free shards to star her up from Horde battle, which starring up red is the hardest part of building them, so the fact that you can star her up a little bit easier is nice too. So all that being said, I'm kind of revising my opinion on Tomoe. I think she's way better than I originally thought, and if I ever finish building Ken, I'm seriously thinking that I might switch over to building Tomoe after he's done. Building Ken's probably going to take me about a year, so that'll be a long time from now. As far as the new Orange Advisor Anar goes, I initially had said that I think she's going to be one of the best oranges when she's built, and I still believe that, but it's turned out that it's really hard to get her presence without spamming a lot of money in the minigame, and aside from that, I have no idea how difficult it will be to unlock the other War Maidens, and so I'm no longer planning on building her. It seems like she'll take too much time and too much money, and it won't end up being worth it, all things considered, although if you have all the time and money in the world, I still think that, technically speaking, she'll end up being one of the best oranges in the game when she's maybe even the best orange that's currently in the game when she's fully built. But to me, it's just not worth it. Even though she's theoretically one of the best oranges, it's going to take too much money and effort to build her, so I'm not planning on building her. Now, that's pretty much all I had for this video. Once we get to reset, I'll re-equip all my pets. I'll use all the talent I've saved up because we're about to enter Talent Rush. I'm not planning on saving anything for Sov Rush. The talent that I gain between now and when the next Sov Rush comes up, if it's not a whole lot, then I'll just skip that Sov Rush and do the next one. But generally speaking, my methodology is going to be like I described earlier. I'm going to save some of these for the Sov Rush just to unlock the milestone stuff, because the milestones in Sov Rush typically have like mini game items in them, which are good. So I'll be saving some of these for Sov, but then all the rest of my talent will be used during Talent Rush. That's how I plan to approach it. And that's all for this video, so let me know if you've got any questions or comments, and let me know, and I'll answer. Thanks.